So welcome back, guys, to the Open Wide podcast. Dr. Jenny, Susan, and we have the most amazing guest today. Nate is our editor of this show, and he was kind enough to agree to come on and do a little Q&A with us. Thank you, Nate. Thank you.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah.
We usually see you on Zoom, so it's nice to see you in the flesh here, Nate. You're only here for a couple days, I guess, but thanks for stopping in the podcast.
Thanks for having me.
He's like a ghost. Flies in, flies out.
Yeah.
But everybody hears about me, and everybody believes in me. I don't know what that means.
And we love you. So, how we got started? Nate, how did we meet? Do you want to tell the story? You want me to tell the story?
I think it was you reached out and said, I'm looking to do a podcast. And I heard that there's this guy in town that has a studio. And through that, you reached out and we started talking. And next thing I know, it was you guys. And the first time I heard you on microphone, I was like, if we don't mess this up, there's something here.
Well, how are we doing so far? We messing it up?
We're making progress. We're solidly in the
slowly making progress
phase.
We're in the yellow, the moderate. We're not in the green. We're not in the red.
Right.
Yeah.
Where there's room to grow, there's room to be optimistic.
Okay,
so that's
there
where
we
we
go.
are.
We got a lot of optimism going on.
We're going to have a lot of little sayings today. I have a feeling with you. So my patient, Ron, nicest guy in the whole world, had the studio space. And then he was the one that introduced me to Nate. I call Nate. And I remember you were driving in the car.
Yep.
And you were like, hang on. Like, let me jot down your, okay. Yep. Okay. And you just took us on. So thank you so much. It's been about a year and it's been a really great relationship. We've loved it. And you do a great job.
Well, we're really enjoying it. We're hoping you're enjoying it too, and that you don't cringe every time you hear us when the podcast is over.
Oh, I mean, the cringier, the better. I mean, that's better content. So.
Okay.
But I'm not cringing that much, but maybe that's something we need to improve.
Okay. We need to up Nate's cringe factor.
Let's dive in a little bit. Where are you from? How did, tell us a little bit about Nate. You were born in what year? No, I'm just kidding.
I was born the day the Berlin Wall fell. So November 11th, 1989. My social security.
MasterCard, Visa. We need those.
Yeah, we need the American Express.
I was born November 11th, and I was born in a town in Pennsylvania called Reading, and second oldest of 8. My mom was a machine.
I'm from 7. Did I tell you that?
Oh, really?
Yeah.
No, I didn't know
I'm the
that.
oldest of 7, yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I'm second oldest. I like second oldest because you don't have the obligation of the first.
No, that's
but you can
true.
still
It's a
pull
lot of
rank on the rest of them.
responsibility. Yeah,
Wow. I just sit back and bow down to all of you.
So I was born and thus my life began, as they say.
Took your first breath.
Yeah. So I'm a Pennsylvania boy, and I just grew up and among all the brothers and sisters, and everything is. I like to tell people I'm a fast talker because when you have 7 siblings, you got to get it out quick.
Yeah, you got to get it out there. Yep,
Right.
That's why I eat fast too.
Right, exactly.
You got to get it. And
chew fast.
There might not be any left.
I'm not getting stuck with the Brussels sprouts.
Yeah, no kidding.
So 7 or 8? You're 8.
There's 8 of us total. So I have 7 siblings.
Woo.
Yep.
So
all same mother, same father.
So when did you get this career path of going into, the technology side of the world versus becoming a realtor or a doctor or a banker or whatever?
Before we get to that question, can I just make an observation? So I Googled Nate Dodson in preparation for this. Okay.
Let's see what it
so
says.
this guy comes up.
FBI,
But you're not a quarterback coach.
I'm not a
right?
quarterback
Okay, so
coach,
you're
no.
not him.
In fact, I would be a terrible quarterbacks coach.
Yeah, okay. And then this guy comes up and he does microgreens. That's not
Okay.
you either.
Microweeds.
But
Absolutely not
shockingly,
me.
these
And then
two.
where's the attorney? There's an attorney out there.
Okay, wait a
called-
minute. Attorney Nathan Dodson
see, I
right
have Googled
here.
myself.
Okay, there he is.
I have Googled myself.
touch this.
Oh, and then there's this guy who does the Raising Capital show, but that's not you either, right? Okay. Well, I actually never found you, but everybody kind of looks alike, and they all look like Nate. Look at these guys. All the Nate
Yeah, we have a
Dodsons
look.
look alike.
There's a club of us. We get
There
together in
is.
Santa
Look,
Fe every year.
It's not Davos. It's NATO's.
It's kind of me also at different stages of my weight gain and weight loss. Right?
In a suit, in a t-shirt.
Bigger, biggest.
So go ahead and tell us who you are, because I couldn't find you on
Well, I started out, the whole story kind of weaves together because I started out, I always loved photography growing up. And when you're one of 8 kids, you don't fly to Disney World. In fact, you don't fly anywhere.
Yeah, you go in the station wagon.
Right. You need to be able to afford other things.
Right.
And we would do these big road trips where we'd go across the country or down to Florida or up. We drove all the way up into the Arctic Circle one year and up to the very, very tippity top of Newfoundland.
Wow.
So these big road trips. And I was always the one in the family who got the camera. And the trips were always about 3 weeks. And somewhere around 2.5 weeks, you finally get sick of just holding the thing.
Yeah.
And I remember I'd always be like, hey, do one of you guys want to just hold the camera? I'll still take the pictures when I see something, but I'm just sick of holding this brick. And it was an old Kodak.
Yeah, those are big back then.
Yeah, 2 megapixel digital camera. It was awful, but it got me started. And it just kind of took off from there. I knew I always loved photography, but when I was 15 and 16 years old, I realized I really wanted to start businesses, and I wanted to every 2 years, I would like to start a new business and start trying all kinds of different things. And I realized that one of the things is a little misguided, but it was, I was 15 years old. I realized one of the things you had to do to start a business, well, you got to make a logo. So I don't have the money to hire somebody to make me a logo. So I better get Photoshop. And I remember the very first day I opened Photoshop, I took the paintbrush tool and I tried to draw the Gatorade logo because I was like, how do you make a logo? How do you make a logo and make it sharp and clean and crisp and everything and it was predictably awful. But it got me started down that road, and then the tie-in with photography and Photoshop, and as Adobe progressed, and they developed other software that's more specific to photography now. But I got into it, and then when I was about 16, I realized I'm trying to learn all this software because I want to build these websites, and I want to how's a website like? Oh, I remember I used to obsess over Overstock.com. How's Overstock.com built? Like when somebody goes and buys a microwave, is Jack on the back end saying, oh, we don't have 6 left in stock. We have 5. Upload new web page. Right. Yeah. And this whole idea of dynamically driven websites and just my whole world opened up to these things that I never knew were going on behind the scenes and were possible. And I fell in love with all the graphic design side of things that dovetailed in with photography a few years later. When I was about 18, 19, I started photographing weddings. And for about 2 years, I probably did 40 weddings, all for free, just to get my feet wet.
Good for you.
Right.
Yeah, that's the
deal
way to
with
do
different types of people, different types of weddings, to photograph an Indian wedding.
Different bridezillas.
That's a whole different
Well,
thing.
honestly, there was one bride who was a little difficult, but even her, it was like, I kind of understand why you're being difficult given the situation she was dealing with at the time. The most tragic was one that I was lined up to do, and I got a call 2 weeks before the groom got killed in a car accident.
Oh, geez.
And that was one where it's like, that's
horrible.
My
so
God.
yeah, but it was just a ton of experience. And then I took that when I was, by the time I was 19, I got into straight commercial photography, trying to do more editorial stuff and working with a number of bigger clients who had, one of my clients was Barclaycard. At the time, Barclaycard, they're just Barclays Bank now. But they do an internal publication, and I worked with an agency and did a bunch of photography for them. So there was things like that where, we need a portrait of the CEO in his home in New Jersey. Can you go and photograph him and yada, yada, yada. We're doing it on top of the building outside of Times Square. Can you come up here and do? So there was a lot of neat stuff like that. And a lot of interesting people you bump into. I was at the CMAs in 2013. I got to photograph, you name a country music star. They were all there.
Chris Stapleton. Chris Stapleton.
Probably.
He is. I'm on a Stapleton binge right now.
Are you?
Anyway,
I gotta look him up. I don't know him. Oh, okay.
Oh, he's so good.
Well, I know Carrie Underwood was there. I know Taylor Swift was there. I photographed both of them. And then Keith Urban as well. I actually had a little bit of time with him.
Keith Urban.
I'm mad at Keith Urban right now. I'm just mad at him. Oh, go ahead.
Well, I'll let him know.
You let him know.
We're not on that.
Now that he's single, you can also let me know.
We're not on that kind of basis. But he was just a great guy. Gave me tickets to his show, but I was heading out of town the next day.
Yeah.
But just this sort of
networking.
This unfolding of all these things that you never really planned begins to happen. People bump into you and see you. And when you're 19 years old doing it, there's this advantage where people are like, you're doing all this and you're only 19. Now that I'm in my 30s, it's kind of like, all right, shut up, you weirdo. Like you're doing what you're supposed to be doing at this point. Right. Nothing impressive about it anymore. But it was great. It turned into that. But when I was 16, leading into the photography thing, I realized nobody's making tutorials and educational content to teach me how to use Photoshop or Adobe Illustrator or any of these different software applications. Okay.
That was
so I started a website and I started making videos on how to do this stuff. And that's what turned into my first early kind of big business. And I just worked that on and off, and, photography was interwoven through it. And, eventually grew the channel. We have over 1 million subscribers. I haven't uploaded anything in 2 or 3 years at this point, but that was.
But people are still going back to look at your early work.
I was in a store not 2 weeks ago, and somebody walked up to me and they're like, "Are you that guy? Can I get a picture with you?"
Wow, Susan, we've never had that. Have you had that? I've never had that.
Just at the police station.
I see people come in my office and they're like, get me away from her. Nobody's like, can I have a picture?
Well, I don't know if it's the kind of person I am. I feel like I'm a pretty self-centered, conceited person. I'm working on it. But it's still pretty weird. It's just kind of like I'm just a guy. You know what I mean? I put my shoes on 1 foot at a time. I put my pants on. It's all just. I'm just a guy.
Yeah, I bet that's how a lot of celebrities feel. Like they're pushed into these little boxes, and everybody knows them, and they can't step outside, and their lives are under a microscope, and they're just a person. Anyway, your story, number one, your determination, your work ethic, beyond. Thank you, Nate, for doing that.
And I feel like I'm lazy.
Yeah.
Well, like that's the weird thing. But somebody told me, or I saw it on social media or something, part of the problem with having high expectations for yourself is when you do achieve a goal, you don't celebrate. You're just like, that was the way it was supposed to be.
Mm-hmm. But I want to ask you another question kind of related to that too. Do you think that your strong work ethic came from coming from a big family? Because nobody's giving you any handouts in that situation, right? So I learned early on,
fight for what you're gonna
exactly. I better like get it myself because it's not coming from anywhere else. Did that happen for you?
I guess it had to. Yeah. The family dynamic is pretty interesting because my mom's side of the family, they're kind of like the classier. I got to be careful what I say here. Yeah. Because there's a potential the family could see this. They're kind of the classier, more square side of the family, let's say. Yep. Whereas my dad's side of the family, like they were like, generations ago, we were lumber thieves in central New Jersey.
And quite proud of it too.
Right. We're playing fast and loose. We got the people with addiction problems. But the smartest people in the world and the most fun.
That kind of describes my family a little bit too. My dad's side was that way and really fun to be with. Yeah.
But my mom's side, it's like that's where the work ethic and the touch of class and the genteelness that we have, I think, comes from. My dad's side of the family, it's like your sense of humor definitely came from over there.
Interesting.
My irreverence, my general irreverence definitely comes from my father's side of the family. Yeah. But I think it all just kind of combines and I don't know. I never really thought about where the work ethic comes from. It's, what it probably is. And you might hate to hear this, but I'm very religious, and I would say it's the Protestant work ethic.
Okay.
I was trying to show those Roman Catholics. Right. Look what we got going on over here. Right. You got your cathedrals. I got my work ethic.
Yeah. Well, I have the Catholic background. That comes from guilt. Like you feel guilty if you don't like show up on time.
A lot of guilt.
Yeah. A lot of guilt. Yeah.
And praying the rosary takes a long time.
A long time.
By the way, big advantage to being Protestant. No more rosary.
Yeah. Well, I have to look into that actually. Yeah, my mother will roll over in her grave, but I may have to look into it. Yeah.
Well, I think you did a great job assimilating mom's side, dad's side, yin and yang, work ethic, whatever you want to call it, guilt, religion, blah blah blah. I think you're fabulous. I think your work ethic is amazing. And I'm really in awe of it all. And then let's dive.
By the way, I got to clip that sound bite.
Yeah, no kidding.
There's some people that I need to send that to.
I'm in awe. Are you in awe of everything that he does?
Well, yes, because I don't really understand it myself, right? So I'm like, well, I'm in awe of what you do, for that matter. Like, I wouldn't know how to do a root canal to save my life.
I could take someone's tooth out.
Trust me, either one of you could be a concierge in a heartbeat. Like, that takes zero skill.
But Nate just said he's going to come in the office and start working. He can take teeth out.
It'll be a bloody mess, but I can take some teeth out.
Okay.
That's about where my skill. You want to know something funny about me? I've never been to a dentist in my life.
Oh my my God, don't tell her
So
that.
what kind of
Are you out of your mind?
what kind of Pandora's box?
You're going to get dental floss and all kinds of crap in the mail
I do
tomorrow.
floss.
So
I do
let's
floss.
get this on record. Nate is going to be in the office before
In your
the
chair.
end of the year. Before too long.
Oh,
just
my
to
God.
let me look. Just
I know.
to let me look.
I know. I have at least 2 cavities.
Who cares?
And I
Let me
think they're
look.
2 teeth that are need some help.
We're doing a dental exam.
That's right. That'll be a podcast.
Hold on, let me write that down.
Sharing the X-rays
Oh,
on
my
episode
God.
episode 100.
Oh,
Will be the big reveal.
funny.
So
Yeah.
let's also talk about, Susan, are you aware Nate has a family?
Well, I am
we
aware
just talked
because
about it.
we just talked. No,
Yeah.
his young family.
Do you
Oh,
know
my
how?
kids.
Do you know how large his
I
family
think
is?
he's on his 7th child.
Mhm.
When's that baby
7th
due?
on the way.
I bow down.
Some
Again.
early June. So we're recording March 27th. Early June
Okay.
is when the baby's due.
Now, did your wife come from a large family too? Like, and you knew when you met each other we were going to have a large family? Did that?
Yeah, so she comes from her mother is one of 6 and her father's one of 7.
Okay.
She's one of 4. But the whole family was Roman Catholic.
Okay.
So it was kind of like always on the first date it came up and it wasn't me bringing it up. 'Cause
Okay.
That's not generally not something I was
That's
I'd
not
be
what the guys are looking for on the first date.
Well, no, but she wanted to make sure because
Yeah.
she's not going to spend
Don't
another
waste
minute
time.
if he's not into 7, 8, or 9
Right.
kids. Yeah,
Right.
yeah.
Yep.
Oh,
I
that's
feel
great.
so left out. I mean, it was just my brother and I.
Yeah.
Like so left out. My dad was an only child.
Well,
My
There
mom
is
had a-
some
Be
drama
careful what
that
you wish
comes
for, I'll tell you
with-
that.
yeah,
Yeah,
with
there's a
big
lot of
families.
drama, yeah.
There can be some drama
A
that
lot of
I'll
drama.
just
that
stand
comes
back
along,
here and
but-
watch everybody.
Yeah. Watch it play out. But anyway, that's great.
But
Good
yeah,
for you.
6,
Congratulations.
7 on the way. And I tell everyone we're going for 15. Look, I live in North Lancaster County.
Yeah.
I'm trying to blend in with
Oh,
the
no,
Amish.
you're a small family. Yeah, you're a
Right.
small family in Lancaster
Yeah, exactly.
County, right?
Right. Yeah.
They have like 15 or whatever. Yeah.
Exactly.
Oh,
So,
my God. That's
yeah.
funny.
And the kids age in range from what to what?
The oldest is 10 and the youngest she's a year and a half.
Wow.
Yeah.
So my
One
best.
of my boys' birthday was just yesterday.
Oh, happy birthday. What's this for? Theodore. Happy birthday, Theodore.
I love that name, Theodore.
I do too.
Yeah.
It's like
Good, strong
presidential.
name. Yeah, it's a good, strong name. Yeah.
Yeah.
He won't be doing microgreens. He'll be more of a lawyer.
Yeah, right. They'll be prosecuting the guy who doesn't have the permit to do microgreens.
Right,
This is like a
exactly.
Ouija board. Which one?
Oh, my God.
So,
Yeah,
go ahead. Go-
So when we were last on a Zoom, Nate, you had a plaque that was celebrating your podcast.
Yep.
But tell me again
The
what that
YouTube
was.
channel.
The
Yeah.
YouTube channel.
Yeah,
Yeah.
1 million subscribers.
1 million subscribers.
Yep.
Okay. And how do you get 1 million subscribers? Because we want to know what we're doing that we need to do more of.
Well, life is full of interesting twists and turns.
Yeah.
And oftentimes you set out to do one thing and it's something else entirely that you end up doing. And I think that's kind of what happened with the YouTube channel. I got in early on the ground floor.
Okay.
I was top 20 most subscribed way back in like 2008.
Oh, okay. When there wasn't many people doing this.
Right.
Thing. Yeah.
But most of my growth came between 2017 and let's call it 2021. And it was a matter of taking it seriously and looking at what was resonating with people and finally moving beyond, there's some people that say I make art, I just make it for myself. And I guess that's fine. I like there to be a little bit more of a utilitarian aspect to the stuff that I make. I want there to be a lesson or just a lesson, something you can learn from it.
Right.
And when I combined that with looking at what people were having trouble with and the things that they were watching and saying, well, this seems to be what people like. I'm going to make more of that and less of this and more of that. That's when everything changed. But
Okay.
I mean, make no mistake about it. The first 3. So Google bought YouTube back in, I forget what year it was. It was either 2008 or 2012. I forget. I mix up all the years. But when I was on YouTube, they were not owned by Google when I originally got onto YouTube. But when Google bought YouTube, they opened up this whole ad partner program where all of a sudden it's like, you can make money doing this. But for the first, 2 years, I mean, I'll never forget my first Google check was 5 cents.
Yeah.
Like I was sitting there like, it costs you more to mail this to me then I'm going to deposit it. I don't even think I ever deposited it. In fact, it was just like, it was 005.
That's something you should frame for sure. Yeah.
Exactly.
I don't even know where it is, but you're right. If I could
That
find
would
it,
be
it would be great.
Yeah.
But then, when things blew up, they changed quick. And it went from 5 cents to $10,000 a month really quickly.
Okay.
That's so interesting. And here's the other thing that I find interesting. 80s and 90s, I mean, I grew up with the Commodore 64, the Apple IIe. You know, I mean, we're talking the box with a screen on it, like old computers. You're born in the 80s, 90s. We've come a long way, you know, with the computers and the technology. I can't imagine what your brain is wanting to do now with the AI movement and everything and how that's going. I mean, it's going to be like five more minutes before this Starbucks cup is scrolling ads on the cup and talking to you and whatever else. I mean, it's just amazing. Like your growth in the 80s, 90s, 17 to 21, boom. Mm-hmm. Who knows where you're going to go?
Well, that's a great question. So where do you see it going? Like how do you think AI is going to impact the work that you're doing now?
Well, there's a lot of people that are very worried about it. I'm not a big fan of AI, not AI abstractly considered. The idea of LLMs has been around since like the 40s.
Yeah.
But it's never been something that's been mass produced and accessible to everybody in the way that when ChatGPT really hit, I think it was ChatGPT 3 in late 2022 with that chatbot that everybody was all of a sudden talking about. It was like ChatGPT. But for AI, I just think it is like a lot of technology where there's going to be a huge ramp and it's going to plateau, right? Think about the early days of the iPhone. Every release, there was huge upgrades and incremental improvements, or greater than incremental improvements. Now we are kind of to the point where it's like, well, the camera's a little better and and people aren't really camping out waiting for it anymore. I think AI is going to do the same thing. There's definitely going to be a place for it. I think it's a really useful tool for data parsing and for getting sort of from 0 to 1. I'm trying to like have these loose ideas. I'm trying to pull it together into a cohesive framework. But you see like all these people making video and 3D and all these different things. There's going to be an element where it's going to do some of that stuff. But so I believe on a fundamental level, there's the physical and there's the spiritual. And like when you love somebody, that's not a physical thing, right? It is some non-physical thing that you feel. So there is organic and mechanical matter, right? Table is mechanical, the microphone is mechanical, but like my arm is organic, right? It can be cut and heal, right? Same with you. And that's that human part, like what gives music its soul when B.B. King is playing the guitar, or what makes you look at, one of Rembrandt's paintings and feel something.
Yeah. Okay.
Right. Yep. So what is it about that common shared, the AI computer is not going to have the shared human experience of, oh, I broke up with this girl that I was so in love with and blah, 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 blah. And all my buddies understand. Right. The AI chatbot will say, well, yes, I understand. I blah, blah, blah. Right. And will there be people that form weird parasocial and even beyond parasocial relationships with AI entities? I mean, it's already happening. But people have been doing that for years with all sorts of inanimate objects.
Right.
So
do you feel we're on the rise, or do you feel we're on the plateau, or where are we on that?
I think we're still on the rise, because I think part of what they need to figure out is, for instance, how to optimize some of this stuff. Right now, it's so resource heavy that it's eventually somebody's going to have to pay the bill. And right now, it's too cheap for what you get back from it. And at some point, the bill is going to come due. And I think that's when you're either going to see a lot of people shed it and say, you know what, real life is actually pretty good, And I think what it'll end up doing is there'll be a pendulum swing, I suspect, back in the other direction to people that are like, I don't do Apple Watch, for instance. I do analog watch. You know what I mean? So that kind of stuff where it's like, I find myself as well, I will intentionally go to the store in different places like that and leave my phone at home just to be like,
that's nice.
What's the worst that can happen? I get into an accident. I have to ask there's 8 million people around me that have a phone. I can borrow it from any one of them.
Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah.
So there's just things like that where I think it's going to cause there to be a swing back to, you can't not have real life, right? Like you can have the metaverse and the fake world and all of that. And will there be a tiny subsection of people that fall into that and like that becomes their life? Sure, probably. But I suspect for the largesse of the human populace, what happened to Apple Vision? Where's Google Glass? There are all kinds of technological things that have come along that have been like, everybody's going to be using this. It's going to be ubiquitous. And they slide into a niche and they're great at what they do, right? AI is great at what it does for the most part. But I don't know that it's going to be
So I just heard, because I watched CNBC, that the CEO of Coca-Cola is stepping down. And part of the reason that he's 60, he's healthy, he's great, no problems there. But part of the reason is Coke is going to go on this AI trajectory. I don't know what that means, marketing, or I don't know what, but he just didn't have the enthusiasm, the whatever, to do a 3 to 5 year AI push.
My kind of guy.
For this company. Why, my question to you is then, why is every big company out there doing this AI ramp up? If you feel it's just going to kind of, plateau.
It's marketing. What it is marketing. It's the hot new thing. If you're a CEO, by the way, Adobe's CEO is stepping down at the end of the year for the exact opposite reason, because he has pushed a bunch of AI and has not gone the way they wanted it to go. Their AI tools have not been very good. And I've been out there to Adobe's place in San Francisco. It's not quite their headquarters in San Jose, but for all intents and purposes, their headquarters.
Bay Area.
Right, exactly. And I've been to one of their AI summits where they were very frank and open about a lot of these tools and things that they see and trying to figure out a way to make money off of it. But the problem is there are things that are great, right? But there's other things where it's like, you're telling me to believe this is great, but it's only great because it's like there's a coolness that you can do it, right? There's no real practicality in actually doing this for real work that designers and developers and people are doing.
There's a lot of cost effectiveness, though, in AI. So, for example, I just made a doctor's appointment the other day, and I didn't speak to one human being, though it sounded like I was speaking to human beings about getting the appointment set up and so on and so forth. So all of that front of the house stuff has gone away. Call centers are now moving to AI for a good majority of the issues that they resolve through call centers. So from a business owner's point of view, it's a lot of cost effectiveness in AI.
Well, cost effectiveness up front. And that's the problem with cost effectiveness in business. It's easy to quantify it immediately, but long-term opportunity cost, it's very difficult to quantify until you're maybe 2 or 3 years out. And an example would be, technology works great when it works great. But when there's the need for the human touch and the dynamic changes and everything is up in the air, you need somebody, even if the AI can figure it out, a human wants to know they're speaking to a human that understands their plight. And we know, for instance, non-robot driven cars, non-human driven cars, right? Automated cars, less car accidents, safer, but humans still prefer to be in a car with a human that's a driver. Even though from a purely rational standpoint, that's a dumb thing to do, but you just feel better about it.
So speaking of you going to the Adobe studios, whatever, in the Bay Area, I also heard, I remember you telling me that you had the opportunity to meet Bill Gates.
Oh, no, I didn't meet. I was in his office. He was not there.
Okay. What was that like?
But I was close to a seat that he sat in.
You touched the seat that Bill Gates sat in. Tell me about that. Like, what was that? What were you doing out there?
I was out there for again, this is an opportunity that YouTube brought along, where Microsoft was developing the Surface Pro tablet at the time, and they said, "Hey, we're going to bring some people out. Do you want to come out? We'll pay for you." First class flight I ever flew in my life. So I'll never forget that. Alaskan Airlines, they had carpet on the walls.
I know. That first class flight, that makes an indelible impression on you. And you can never go back. Have you noticed that?
You never want to go back.
You never go back. But I was out there on this trip where they just said, we'll give you a tour of the whole facility, and we want to show you how the Surface Pro is made. I think it was the Surface Pro 2 and the Surface Pro 1 had kind of flopped a little bit. So their marketing department was trying to drum up a little bit more information. I, at the time, was a little too daft to play the game. I was like, I didn't even bring my camera with me. I was like, oh, this is a cool thing Microsoft is doing for us, not thinking that, okay, there's a reason they're doing it. They want you to make a video about what's going on. I never made a video, but I did meet a lot of other interesting YouTubers. But in the tour, they were like, you want to go to Building 3? Like, Bill Gates' office is over there. He's not, or maybe I think he had left the company at the time that I went out, but
how exciting, though. How exciting.
Yeah, you got to sit there and look out over the pond or drainage pit or whatever it was that he would look out over from his desk. And
the sewage ditch.
Right. Yeah.
How great.
But it was cool. Yeah, it was a neat, also went into what at least at the time was the world's quietest room. It's like a concrete dome, and you walk on a suspended mesh, and it's like 12 feet below you, and these huge pointed
What was the purpose of that? Meditate? Was it a meditation room for the employees?
No, I don't know. It was for sound testing.
Oh,
for
sound
stuff.
testing. Okay,
but it was so quiet you could hear your heart beating in your ears.
Wow.
Like when they closed the door and everyone was quiet.
It's like the womb.
It was a totally dry room. So there was no reflection of sound. It was very bizarre.
That's where you.
It was completely pitch black when they closed the door. Like you could hold your hand up in front of your face and not see anything.
That's where we put the bad people.
Yeah,
Yes,
wow.
it felt very much like if I was here.
Why did they put you in there?
Yeah, if I was here too long, I would go crazy. It was a very strange feeling.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Interesting.
Yep.
Yeah.
Well, anyway, what else, Susan? What else can you think?
Well, no, I mean, I just think I know Nate has to catch a plane, so we want to be mindful of his time. So just give us some advice. You're our guy. What do you think we should be doing more of, less of? What do you like? What you don't like?
A lot of what we've talked about. You got to stick with it, even when it feels like it's not going well. You go through periods of time where it feels like it's not going in the direction you're going, but life is not linear, and success in business or anything, it's not linear. It goes like this and then like that and then back up and sometimes all the way down.
Yeah.
But you just have to, if you believe in what you're doing and you're like, I can't quite maybe articulate it right now, but I know something's there. We just need to keep rearranging the deck chairs.
Okay.
The Titanic isn't sinking.
All
We're
right,
just rearranging the deck chairs. But
this is advice for everyone.
Yeah.
Hard work, perseverance, belief in your vision.
Yeah.
Don't quit. If you get up, just keep getting up. And my favorite word that Susan and I use all the time on this show, pivot, 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 pivot.
Yeah.
So we just keep pivoting.
There's a great book called Obliquity by a guy named John Kay. He wrote it back in 2016. And it's all about in life and business. I think it's meant to be a marketing book, which is why a dork like me picked it up and read it. But it's a very interesting book on very often we start out trying to do one thing and life is a very oblique thing.
Yeah, that's true.
There's very rarely a direct line, right? I found success because I did this. And yep, there I am, success.
Right.
Yeah.
And it's an interesting book that
it just feels like there's a lot of noise out there, podcast noise. Like everybody's into podcasts now, it feels like. And so the way we break through is kind of we're trying to figure out that formula, I guess. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, and that's where it's, that same type of oblique approach, the more you put yourself out there, like the stuff we've been talking about with video and the video we've been doing here on the show, it's not that any one of the video or that all the videos together are going to make the show a smashing success. But what that does is it exposes your show to potential positive upside.
Okay.
Right.
Yeah.
So it's you can think of it like playing in a casino, but the odds are stacked in your favor if you stick with it. Right. You can kind of only fail if you stop trying. Right. And that's
I'm going to use that in the dental office.
Yeah.
When the patient's in the chair and they look at me and they go, I really don't want to have you put that filling in. I'm going to say, look at the potential.
If I stop
the potential
trying.
positive
Expose yourself. Expose yourself.
Potential. You have potential positive upside. Open wide.
I do have another question.
Yeah.
So I know there's these podcast seminars or conferences or conventions that you can go to. Is there any merit to going to them? And B, is there any merit to us raising our hand and saying we'd be happy to do a panel discussion or we'd be happy to, talk about what it was like the first year of podcasting in an effort to gain audience?
Well, I don't know if you'll gain audience doing it, but maybe you would, right? It's again that obliquity thing. I'm a pretty skeptical guy, so I always tend to look at things at my first glance as like, what do they really have to teach you?
Yeah.
But then I end up doing the thing, and I always learn something.
Okay.
So if you were to go and be a part of something like that and listen to a few people's panels or whatever, I am 100% certain you would come out saying
with something.
We learned some incredible things. And do you have experience talking about your podcasting experience? 100%.
Yeah.
I mean, you're going to be right. You're going to be 60, 70 episodes in here before you know it. And that's a lot more. There's a lot of people who go 10 episodes and are done.
And the other thing is we need to video live if we travel together. That needs to be videoed.
Hilarious.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Just throwing that out.
So I'm going to look for some places where we can go. We're not
Okay.
going to Omaha, Nebraska, or any
keep it
place
warm?
like that. Yeah, we're going to go someplace nice. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Or big. Like there's a lot of good places in like San Francisco, New York,
San Francisco.
Oh, right.
where
You're going there
if you're going to fly, if you're going to go somewhere, I'm sure there've got to be big shows and places like that. But I don't know. It may be something where it's more of a Las Vegas thing or a
Viva Las.
Oh, God.
Yeah, I could send you some stuff.
But Nate,
There's some mid-sized shows and things.
Yeah.
I love doing this. I don't know. I mean, yes, we want it to grow. Yes, we want the numbers, but I get such a kick out of just sitting here with Susan and just like, I don't know, whatever comes up. And here we are. And what the heck is going on?
This would be my piece of advice if I had to distill it into one thing. Remain interested in each other. If you can find the person you're sitting across from actually interesting, I think about how easy it is to interview your guests and things where everything is new, right? You do an hour with somebody and it's like that.
Yeah.
Right. So if you can force yourself to find that curiosity when Jenny's talking about the petunias she bought from Publix or whatever.
Actually, no, we have to have a discussion
find another
because
subject than
two
that.
young guys in Publix this week, REM was playing overhead. And I looked at them at the checkout and I said, don't you love REM?
They didn't
And
know who it
they
was.
went like this. They went, what?
Yeah.
Is that a young hip hop artist?
thought-
on the
Yeah,
rise?
they had no idea who it was.
Yeah, no. So you got to just,
Yeah.
Keep,
What's the moral of that story,
There,
Steve?
there is none.
Don't go to
There's none.
Publix.
But no, listen to REM. Listen to REM, kids.
Kids
Listen,
today.
if I know Ariana Grande
God's
and BTX
sakes.
or BLM or
Yeah,
whatever
all
it
right,
is,
fair enough.
if I'm learning your stuff, you need to learn
Okay.
my stuff.
Fair enough. That's
I want to hear
point.
that BLM artist.
Yeah. Oh my God.
But anyway, no, I do.
Hilarious.
I find Susan has such an interesting life. And I mean, at the end of every week, it's like she's done 50 social events.
Well, and the thing is, Susan, for you, it's old hat, right? It's just what's interesting about my life. But there are all kinds of things that are, if I were to walk into your house or your office, there's 30 things that you walk by every day that I'd be like, oh, that's kind of a cool little
probably.
thing you've got on the shelf.
But that would be true of everybody, right?
Yes, of course. But that's the richness and the depth you got to try to reach into when you're, how do I remain interested in this person? After all of these episodes and hours.
It's like marriage.
It sounds like it's turning into relationship advice. Oh God,
It's like marriage advice. We're
Remain
gonna do
interested.
date nights and everything else. Are you
Yes.
kidding me?
Yeah, schedule regular time together.
Drinks with Susan, but the day night thing. No. Anyway,
God,
Nate, I
hilarious.
can't thank you enough. This has just
thanks
been,
for taking the time with us
and
today.
Thanks for having
And
me.
and we
thanks for
probably-
all the work you do behind the scenes too. That's really
Oh.
important. Yeah.
Yeah, everything that you do, we're so appreciative of it. And we really
Yeah.
appreciate your time today. We know you have to catch a flight. So
No, that's all right. I got to leave in about 3 minutes. So.
yeah, so perfect
Good.
perfect
time.
wrap up.
You got to get home and help with the kids. So your wife has been alone this week.
So
Hey,
in an
she's a trooper.
in an effort to let Nate get home and help with the children,
Yeah.
this is a wrap.
Okay. Thanks, Nate.
Thank you, Nate.
Thank you, guys.
Yeah, you want to take the other Nate Dodsons with you?
Yeah, gather all the Nates up. We thank you for listening and hope you enjoyed this podcast. If you did, please share this show with friends and family and subscribe to our YouTube channel. This way, you'll never miss weekly drops. Stay strong, dream big, and floss your teeth.